Sup, my name is Bogdan. Today we speak about OnePlus. I cannot call it an innovative company because while some brands make their smartphones with cameras sliding out of the body, others leave no place for buttons and ports. These guys bring out ordinary, boring and trivial products with a slight hint towards trends. Let's take a look at OnePlus 6T and try to understand how does it hook an average fan of modern smartphones. Judging from the outside, I still highly recall OnePlus 6. Although there is no fingerprint reader on the back, classic notch was replaced with a teardrop one, a headphone jack was removed, and the result a tiny bit of a space supposedly granted additional 400 mAh to the battery. Our 6T samples got a matte finish on the back. This glass looks unusual, the shimmering back is neat, but the smartphone just refuses to sit quietly in my hands, it tends to slip out even more than the glossy version. The fingerprint reader is under the screen, and in my humble opinion there is no better words than they tried their best, but we better have it all as in the past. Because it doesn't work as fast as classic sensor and besides doesn't give any signs of life in the code at all. That's why you have to use face unlock instead, which by the way is not allowed with bank applications, however I'll admit that it is totally about a sport car speed. For the proper work the screen needs to highlight your finger, and if during the day the accordion animation looks cool, then at night a bright flash in the face will be at least annoying.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will, look right here.
On the other hand, now you can unlock the smartphone when it is on the table much quicker and easier than before. Alas, the technology has no other trump cards, unless being the opening one to the series. The liquid protection is still here, it has no specific standard, there is no responsibility for the consequences, but it is possible to use the smartphone in the rain and most people will find this enough to feel confident. The SIM card drawer hasn't changed, but with the list of available storage versions, I personally won't complain about missing the place for SD card. Third generation USB is not here either, Type-C is installed because it is convenient, and nothing more. My favorite feature in OnePlus series in terms of notifications, which is a switch on the right side, is very loose here. No matter how frustrating it is, the ability to quickly turn off the sound on a smartphone is a massive benefit for me. The screen is 6.41 inches and the resolution is Full HD+. It is made using optic AMOLED technology. This beauty takes almost the entire front panel and is able to satisfy both lovers of soothing colors and fans of LED saturation. Despite the fact that many people will find this screen terribly calibrated, I'll say that this is one of not many from OLED family which I can look at without getting my eyes tired. Big-eyed will definitely see flaws of not the highest resolution, but if you don't stare at some kind of contrast picture at close range, then you can forget about this thing. If you tilt the screen too much, you will see blue spots, which is quite normal for non-top displays of this type. OnePlus 6T is not a winner in the extreme values of top and the bottom of the brightness range, but you can easily live with it. Even under the sun, the screen remains more than readable, and in complete darkness, unlike the animation of the fingerprint reader, it doesn't burn your eyes. Behind the screen we also have still a top-end Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 chipset and a huge bucket of RAM for 6 or 8 gigs. After we compared OnePlus 6T with Google Pixel 3 XL, we found out that the data transfer in storage is not the quickest, but come on, you won't literally feel it in the real life because the smartphone handles all its tasks just nicely. Any heavy video files are spinning with no delays, and I've got no complaints about the games too, not at all. World of Tanks Blitz and PUBG Mobile ran on top graphics, and not only for the first 5-10 minutes. For who's fascinated about in-depth testing, here are the results of 10 Antutu tests in a row and our table of throttling numbers. Take a pause and we are moving on. As I mentioned earlier, the battery in the smartphone's grown up to 3700 mAh. Dreams not come true, buddies. If OnePlus 6 needed a charge not more than once a day, then OnePlus 6T, under the same laws, just leaves a solid margin of power. Sadly, there's no room to speak about both 2 days of battery life. Power adapter from the box will pick the charge up to 90% for an hour and will get the rest in half an hour. As for the cameras, it is a typical flagship smartphone from a China brand. It is generally good at shooting, but some shortcomings take their place. I speak about HDR mode that paints over the picture. It is not as aggressive as Samsung smartphones do, but there is a slight taste of oil painting. As for the rest, this mode is quite efficient and adds an impressive look to the pictures. The main camera capabilities will be enough for most people to press the shutter once and get a photo with satisfying quality. Dynamic range is decent, auto-white balance do not fail, colors are more or less natural. The night mode brings nice details and is dramatically better than automatic realistic one, but the picture turns into a synthetic drawing. Auto settings make a little worse images, but still they look natural. Which one is better? Decide for yourself. Video comes in 4K with 30 or 60 FPS on your choice. There's software stabilization that is very efficient, except the fact that it has a hard crop effect on the frame that noticeably beats the clarity. Front camera is okay, nothing to add more. Feel free to take pictures, but do not expect the highest quality of selfies from 6T. In particular, they are very lacking in details. Let's face it once again, the mini jack is missing. Unlike Apple, OnePlus shown a bit of a care and put an adapter for nifty headphones to the kit. Through it, the device sounds somewhere just like its predecessor. By the standards of smartphones, the sound is good. It is straight with a slightly harsh treble, which is clear when listening at high volume. It cannot be called very comfortable or soft, but it helps the music fan to adjust the nature of the sound with headphones. In general, it creates a variety of preferences, and this is the most important thing. The multimedia speaker is only one at the rear. Anyway, it is powerful enough to put you out of the bed with alarm clock and not to miss calls. The quality of the signal is also pleasing. The music through the built-in acoustics is not icky, but I would still recommend using headphones. After all, your beloved Netta is not for everyone. The company hasn't changed their approach to the software, which I'm really happy about. OnePlus took pure Android and expanded most of its ideas. There are more settings for always on display, elaborately customizable interface, a lot of software buttons options, and the game mode. It would seem to be overwhelming, but unlike in Samsung, all this flavoring did not create the poisonous cake. The firmware is light and fast and friendly, as such I didn't notice any glitches behind it. Summing up, with every new smartphone, OnePlus is becoming somewhat closer to their community, about which they broadly speak on every presentation, but some of their actions are just kicking faces of its fans with no mercy. OnePlus 6T boasts with a large battery and a zoomed out notch, at the same time taking away mini jack and teasing with an animation of the Fingerprint Reader. Should I call OnePlus 6T better than previous model? I would rather not. It is just another version of OnePlus 6 with a couple of features that still might find their customers. It is a good smartphone, but definitely not a reason to forget about OnePlus 6. So if you decide to get a new pocket pet, I would recommend both 6 and 6T models as equal. Anyway, you can find the links where you can buy these smartphones in the description box below. If you like this video, hit the like button, also subscribe and ring the bell to stay tuned for more cool content. My thanks for watching, and cheers!